least now I can say we have two wonderful guests on our podcast today, and they are not your average everyday Stargate guests. They are
No,
actually
sorry.
my daughters, Vala and Freya, who are going to tell us a little bit about why they like Stargate, and we're going to ask them some Stargate related questions because they are Stargate fans, and we think it's so cool that there are Stargate fans in, I guess, Gen Z and even Gen Alpha. So I guess I'll start this
Give me
by
toilet Liz.
I guess I guess I'll start this by asking because I know why you both started watching Stargate or how you both started watching Stargate because you, of course, we watched it and so you've seen it and you've watched it with us. But could you each, and I mean maybe you can take turns talking, just say a little bit about why you like Stargate and what made you interested in it beyond that it was just a show on that your parents watched.
You want to start today?
You can.
Okay. I'll start, I guess. Um, I don't know. Well, I didn't actually start like, I guess you could say, actively watching Stargate till I was like 11, because then we actually had it on the hard drive and we were like here in Graz. And I guess I like the show because it has an interesting plot line, and I personally enjoy all of the characters quite a bit. Specifically, like the interactions between characters. Like in season one, you get a lot of the Jack Daniel action with their bantering, and I think it's very funny.
That's awesome.
Give all your turn.
Well, I kind of agree with Freya.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny,
Awesome.
right?
So
Mhm.
so I guess now I know that Alyssa didn't like tie you down to a chair and make you watch it.
No.
Good to know, good to know. Okay, so I get the old person question. It says, how do you young whippersnappers? Okay, so how do you think the show relates to other shows of people your age? Wait, okay, wait, hold up. See, I told you I'd screw this up. How do you think the show relates to other shows people your age watch? Does that sound right?
Yes, it's just like the shows that people in your generation watch, people your age.
How
Well, the
does
thing
it
is,
relate to? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
well, it has all of the main components of a show nowadays. Like if you watch The Rookie, which is like a cop show, it has sort of the same premise. It has interesting relationships between characters, a few like a large group of people that it sort of revolves around, which are occasionally like switched and stuff, with a little bit of the romantic relationships thrown in. And you get the same thing with Stargate. You have the main plot line, the action parts, and you also get the character romance. So it's basically, I guess you could say, it has the same components as any other show we watch now. But I would say it has a little bit of a different like watch time, like run through. Like
Mm-hmm.
most shows now, like the example I gave, The Rookie, it kind of just it has action in the first part, a little bit of quiet time, and then more action. But Stargate is more, it's like 40 minutes. It's like for the first 30 minutes, like it's building up to a point, you know?
Yeah, so it feels, does Stargate feel slower? Is that what you mean? Kind of
Yeah.
like a
Like it
slower
actually
buildup?
feels like 40 minutes, not like 20 minutes, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And I guess the second part of the question also is, and you may have already answered this, but do you think that there's a good reason for people of your generation to get interested in Stargate?
Well, yeah, I think it's a really cool show. I mean, I've tried to get my friends to watch the show. I've even, in fact, stated that it is better than Star Trek, to which all of my classmates said I should go to hell, which I find is just cruel. But no, like I've tried to get them to watch it. They're not too keen on it because it's like it's a show that didn't get a lot of promotions. Like it didn't like it wasn't promoted. There weren't a lot of action figures. They didn't make it like tons of video games about it. Like Star
Yeah.
Trek, it has all of those different things, you know? And so I think it's a wonderful thing to watch. I think it's just hard to get people to watch it because the
Yeah.
premise is kind of ridiculous. If you actually think about it, you have a group of people picked out from Earth who are fighting people who have snakes in their head. Like it doesn't sound like something you want to watch, you know?
Very true.
What about you? How does this relate to Gen Alpha? Are they skivvy toileting their Riz for the Alpha?
Oh my
I mean,
gosh.
does anybody in your school watch Stargate, Vala?
No,
No?
no,
Do you think they could?
no.
No. What do they watch?
Um, horror movies.
Horror movies. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they like some Atlantis. It gets a little bit like
Yeah. There's a little bit
yeah,
more of the, yeah. I mean,
a
it
little
kind of
bit more
depends.
just
Yeah. A
yeah,
little bit of the scary involved. Um,
totally. So here's a question. Do either of you have favorite characters or characters that interest and inspire you? And you don't have to say just one, you can say any. And just so you know, we are asking about Stargate, SG-1, and Atlantis. They have not seen Universe yet. We're in the middle of season 3 of Atlantis and season 10 of Stargate, but of SG-1. But you can say any characters from Atlantis
I'm gonna
or
give you my top four because I have a top four.
Okay.
okay.
It's Jack O'Neill because he's hilarious,
Oh
naturally.
yeah, that's true.
Um, and Jack O'Neill pairs very well with other characters. Like if you see him with Woolsey in an Atlantis episode, like Woolsey is making all these frightened remarks, like, "Was that an explosion? What happened?" And Jack is like, "I've been sitting next to you the whole time. I know about as much as you do." And it's just really funny because like I just he's really, really funny to me. And then also I love Beckett, like Carson Beckett from Atlantis, because number one, he's Scottish and I just love his accent. Like it's
yeah.
so funny to me. Secondly, he's just like a great character. Third is Rodney McKay. Like he is one of my favorite characters because he's like a smart ass, but in a good way, you know? Like it's funny
Yeah.
when smart ass. Also, it's really funny when the rest of like the team sort of lays into him. It's kind of funny, you know? And then also I liked Zelinka, from Atlantis. He's really funny to me, and his interactions with Rodney are like insanely funny to me.
Yeah.
And also he like when he gets mad or stuff, he talks in Czech, which I think is a really nice detail.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
He
Totally
doesn't
agree.
swear in English, he starts swearing in Czech.
Totally. I love that too. That's a really good point that they like made an effort to actually make sure that he did that because it would make no sense for him to swear in English, right? So
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. And Vala, do you have any favorite characters?
Oh yeah, well I also agree with that. General Neil is also pretty funny. And I also like Sam, also Taylor from Atlantis, Dr. Beckett, and Dr. Robin.
Yeah. What do you think of the Vala character?
Nah, I like it,
Do you like her? Yeah.
but not my.
I just have to say, Daniel in like season 10 compared to like season 5 is so funny to me. Because in like season 9 and 10, he was super on board. But like there was a time when he was totally okay with killing a child in season 10. I can't remember exactly where it was. It was one episode where it was like the fate of the universe or this child, and he was fully prepared to shoot the child. And I was just thinking, like, oh my god, season 5 Daniel would be like, nope, no thank you. But like season 10 Daniel is so much of a savage. Like one of the recent episodes we watched was with the bounty hunter, and so the bounty hunter was like it was like a girl who was like on Earth, and he was in a library, and she was like trying to flirt with him, and he was just not having any of it. And Daniel in season 10 just looks so done with everyone all the time. And I think
Yeah.
is that
Yeah.
your spirit animal, Freya?
slightly.
Wait, what's her spirit animal? Daniel? What?
Danielle being done with it all the time, you know? She
What does
identifies
that
with
mean? I guess I don't understand what you mean if you're asking her if Daniel's her spirit animal. I'm so confused.
I was kind of asking if like that attitude embodied like how she feels.
Ah, okay,
Yeah.
got it. Got it. But yeah, Daniel like does massively change near the end seasons, and I was just like thinking that because I remember when I watched it the first time, I had a massive crush on the nerdy Daniel. And then like the later on Daniel, I'm like, oh, he's cool, but like I don't have a crush on him anymore. And then, but now I'm just like, no, I kind of prefer the later Daniel.
Yeah. Do you both prefer the later Daniel or the earlier Daniel?
Well, it depends. Earlier Daniel is like he's really funny. I feel like they both have their charms. Like earlier Daniel is like the moral objection Daniel. He's like the one that goes, "Hey, this is wrong. We should fix this." And then later Daniel is like, "Okay, that's wrong. I don't have the energy to fix it though, so let's move on." You know? But I feel like both of them have their charms, specifically like also in the later seasons when Daniel is like I feel like he gets like during one of the episodes where he becomes a prior.
Daniel
He
becomes
just
a prior.
Oh, wait. Wait, did you get there yet? We should have asked
guess-
Emily, what exact episode are you on?
Yeah, what exact episode are you on? That would
Yeah.
have been a better idea.
Yeah.
Oh, should I tell you? I don't know. I am on.
Let's
Let
see.
me check.
I think I just spoiled massively.
I'm on season 10, episode 10.
Okay,
Oh,
yeah.
so
Have I seen Daniel be a no?
you're getting there. You're getting there. So if
I was just
girls,
like, I would remember that, I'd hope.
I think so she would be right before or right at the two-parter where in Atlantis, where has O'Neill come back to Atlantis? Like, did you?
Yeah, so I saw that part. I haven't watched the second part to that yet.
Perfect.
And then with SG1, it's the quest part 1 that I just
Okay.
watched.
Perfect. Okay. So
Yeah.
just so you guys know, that's where she is. So they're trying to get the the Philosopher's Stone thing, the Sun Graal in
Yeah.
SG1 and in Atlantis, the one where
Philosopher's Stone? This isn't
yeah.
Harry Potter.
I know, but like I was
Similar, though. They do look similar, I have to say.
well, I mean, it's based on the same thing for mythology, like the Sun Graal, the Holy Grail, the Philosopher's Stone. It's all like this thing where eternal life comes out of, and probably Harry Potter took it from that mythology, just like Stargate did, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
Guys,
Yeah.
go on to the next question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Next
it's me,
que-
right? Is it me?
Yes.
Okay. So what let's see, what bad guy do you like or fear the most and why? Such
Ooh.
as the Gold, the Replicators, the Ori, or the Wraith.
The Gould, I feel like I wouldn't fear those guys because, like, let's be honest. I mean, you become like a slave, worst case scenario, and the chances of you living as a slave is much higher than like, I guess if you were like, replicators is just complete another destruction. You're dead. The Ori, all you really have to do for the Ori is believe in them. So I feel like you could lead quite a peaceful life if you were like under the control of the Ori. So they're not that threatening in terms of if you were just like a citizen, you know?
And who's your favorite bad guy though?
The replicators, I like the replicators, but also at the same time I hate them. They're so annoying and pesky. Mm,
And the Wraith?
yeah, I actually really like the Wraith though.
Oh,
Like
the Raven.
they're terrifying to me.
Oh, you're
Because
disappearing in your background. Peace out. Bye.
Okay, no, I feel like to me the Wraith are the most like threatening
Mm-hmm.
because
And
it's
are they
like they
also your,
steal the life out of you.
are they
Yeah.
also your
Give it
favorite?
back.
Yeah, they're also my favorite because they've had like their charms, you know? So yeah, like they're actually intelligent beings with plans, but at the same time, like there's a lot we don't know about the Wraith.
Yeah.
There's
And
something-
Vala, what about you?
I agree with Freya. The Wraith are my favorite bad guys, but also they're kind of scary to me. But when they suck the life out of you, they can also give it back.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
that
And-
helps. I mean,
Yeah, that is,
Yeah.
yeah. Like, and the real question is, would either of you like to become a Wraith? Because that is like my ultimate dream of like having someone do the makeup and become a Wraith. Like, that would be amazing. No. They're like,
Yeah, okay,
no.
that's a good question. Which would you want to cosplay as the most? A
Ooh,
Goa'uld, a Replicator, an Ori, or a Wraith?
definitely a ghoul. They have the coolest outfits.
Yeah.
They do. They do have really cool outfits. See, I would like to
But
look all
the Wraith,
creepy though.
the
Yeah.
Wraith do have their charming outfits. Like they have more of like a techno style, and then the Gould have more of like a an old like historical style.
But also the Wraith rock the Wraith walk like a stick, like just straight.
No, the
not
Wraith
moving
walk
around.
really weird.
Yeah.
Also, like I have my own questions about the Wraith. Like, are there racist Wraith? Are there different races of Wraith? Because all we've seen is like the ones with white hair, but some of them have dreadlocks and some of them have the mask. And it's like, what's the tier levels of a Wraith? What is their daily social status look like? Like we know there's a queen and then the rest are supposedly men, and it's just like, okay, so how does the social like life of a Wraith go? Like how do you get promoted? Like, can you get promoted? Do they have like shunning things socially? Like is your status heightened depending on the human you consume? Like I have my questions about Wraith, like their social standing points. Like is there anything that's foul play for Wraith? Do you think they have their own version of like historical events?
Oh my gosh, those are really good questions. And why does a queen have like the colorful hair? But like, why don't
True.
they
Yeah.
have white hair? Like they have
And it's
red
also
hair
like
and other colors, but
I'm in the episode where where they use the Wraith retrovirus and they turn the Wraiths into humans, they all look very different to me. Like they're very different in terms of looks. So it's like, does
Yes, true.
race racism exist? Do they have different races? How does the colonies work?
and
Like
why
how do
does
you
Michael have short hair?
Yeah,
Yeah,
why
why
does
what's
he
the hair?
I mean, why doesn't their hair stay long when they turn into humans? That's a good question. Is the long
Well,
Like
hair
it's
part of
it
their
some
wraithness?
of them
yeah.
do though. Some of them their hair does stay long, but some of them it stays shorter.
Yeah.
It's
And
weird.
also in Atlantis they state that like Wraith can't like go into the mind of a human, but they also somehow make a human see things. So it's like, which one is it? You know?
So they can do something. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like in
Yeah.
the episode where like they get a bunch of hive knowledge from the queen who wants the retrovirus. That's where they like team up as allies. Um they get like an entire encyclopedia and there's this funny moment where Shepard is like, well, if we get an entire Wraith encyclopedia, I know what page I want to start on. And Zelinka says, yes, well, I'm sure Wraith sexuality is very interesting. I would like to witness this. And it's like, it begs the question, what does their social standpoint look like? I want to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too.
Well, to be honest, we haven't seen seasons 4 and 5, and of course Emily's also in season 3, so it's possible these questions are answered or at least somehow explored. I'm sure I know I remember right. There's more things that are addressed about the Wraith, but I can't remember everything. Like, but
Yeah.
it's very good questions, right? Because
Mhm.
we learn a lot about the Goa'uld, like in terms of we learn that there's like more powerful system lords and like lesser system lords, and that there is a hierarchy within the Goa'uld themselves, and that they have relationships with one another.
Something
It
I never
that's
got with the Goa'uld was how they pass their entire like genetic memory into their sons.
Yeah.
Like that just seems a little like that just seems like lazy writing to me.
well, it also seems like it would clog up your mind, like, or is it because you get genetic memory? You don't necessarily seek to learn as much, and so all you really have is like the knowledge you get. And so because you have all that knowledge, sometimes like when you get things gifted to you like that, you don't seek things out as much. So maybe it's actually hindered their development because if they had to learn on their own, they would
And then there's
be.
also like the point where it's like, you know how people say your memory is your personality?
Yeah.
If they have the memory of their like parents, wouldn't they just be carbon copies of their parents? Like why do they have different personalities if they
Good
already have
question,
all the
right?
memories? Like, what's the point?
See, that shows that you need to be one of the writers on the team when they start a series.
Yeah, because then you can address that.
Because you'll just be like, and why is this and why is that and what does this mean? And then like it'll be an amazing story. So
You know,
Yeah.
there's been like so many series where I've just gone, they really needed someone to look at this from an outside perspective.
yeah.
Like honestly, like there's some shows where I've legit just said, who wrote this and were they high? Because it's so bad.
Well, I mean, I wonder how you came up with like how does one come up with the concept of a snake that goes in your head and then makes you turn into this like power hungry megalomaniac?
Yeah.
Or it's
I
also
mean,
like,
That's
how do
amazing
their
though.
eyes glow?
yeah.
Like there's nothing like that biologically that should be making your eyes glow.
And
Like
then
it's
they
cool.
choose when they glow. It's like, and when they
Yes,
do
they
a
do.
threatening stare, and then it will suddenly glow. Like they're able to
Hmm.
hide their glow.
Yes, yes, exactly.
But it's only like the white part of the eye glows.
Ooh,
Hmm. It's
huh.
interesting.
That is very
So
cool.
the next question I have for you both, especially because you both mentioned um, first characters you really love for Atlantis,
Yeah.
and you also both seem to really like the Wraith. Um, this is not your first time seeing SG-1, although it's Vala's first time seeing it all the way through. She has watched a lot of it kind of here and there. But it is your first time, both of you, watching Atlantis and watching SG-1 and Atlantis at the same time. What is it that you like about Atlantis as you're watching this along with SG-1? And are there things you don't like? And do you like watching the two shows at the same time?
Well, I really like the funniness of the two shows together. Like there are some really good moments and callbacks that you can do. Also, the episodes connect to each other at some points, and some of the themes are the same. Like there's an episode where their Stargate SG-1 is dealing with a bomb, and then it's like a similar concept in Atlantis, which is just kind of cool. And I guess I like Atlantis because there's a lot of new technology that they can explore. So they have more of like they have more to the sci-fi part of it. You know, like they're entering into more of a Star Wars-y type thing because just the level of technology they're dealing with is bigger. Like it's much larger. They have much more advanced technology, you know?
Hmm. Vala, what about you?
Well, it is funny with Stargate and Atlantis together. What I don't like about it is that in Stargate and Atlantis, there's also like to be continued or 8 hours earlier, 6 hours later. That's what I don't like.
And
Yeah,
especially the to be continued when you have to then watch an SG-1 before you watch the Atlantis, right? Yeah.
very true. I guess I would agree in the sense of I'm like, I don't mind the to be continued things. I'm not always a big fan of shows when they have like 8 hours earlier kind of thing. Like, I don't know
Yeah.
why, but that always has kind of like irritated me. And I don't know why. There's really no
However,
reason
there
for
was
it.
one episode of Star. There's one episode that you're about to get to in Atlantis where they're gonna do that, but it's gonna be done so well, you're gonna love it.
Ah,
Yes,
yay.
it's the one where it's because yeah, they actually did that a lot in both for a few episodes, and then they did that one, and I remember we got to that and we're like, no, not again. But then they actually did it well.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah. Do you guys feel like, and this is for like any of you, including you, Alyssa, like I just thought of it, like, do you feel like they sometimes repeat storylines but slightly change it up for Atlantis? Like sometimes things feel very similar to things that happened in SG-1, but then like they just like beef
Well,
up the story a little.
yes,
yeah,
totally, totally.
there is an episode of Atlantis that I feel mirrors sort of an episode of Stargate, but I can't say it because you haven't gotten there yet.
Ah,
Which
okay.
one is it? Can you just tell me the name, Freya?
I can say, uh, it's the one with, how do I say this? It's the one with the device that looks like a spinal cord.
Oh, that doesn't do anything to me.
The Wraith device
Okay, it doesn't do anything to me.
in the cave.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean,
That
the
one,
thing
yeah,
is,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. I mean, I would
I
agree. I
think that
think
one
there's
that one that one resembles the episode where they find the box that like regenerates people's lives, and you have like the bunch of the I guess you could say like the what do you call them?
The Anubis Warriors?
No, not the you know the box thing that Daniel found? And
Hmm.
then those weird soldiers slash bandits slash whatever took it and they started going crazy.
Yes, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I find that sometimes there's like episodes where you go into it and it does kind of remind you of something similar in Stargate.
Yeah,
And I'm trying to think, like probably the Tao of Rodney is similar to like the fifth or
I
the
haven't
fifth
seen that
race.
one yet.
Yeah, but I think Emily mentioned that like in when we had her on that
Yeah.
she said that's the Rodney version of the fifth
And
race. And
that's like I had just watched one of the ones I had watched was and while I was watching it reminded me of an episode, and of course I can't remember what episode it reminded me of, but it was the one called Phantoms in
yes, yep,
Atlantis, like where they're like basically like hallucinating things, and I think wasn't there, I can't remember now, but it reminded me of an episode. I think it maybe must have been on an SG1, but I can't think of which one it was now. But it's like things like that where it's like there's
yep,
like little things within the storyline that at first I'm like, it's like, well, they're not going to repeat it, are they? Like, I doubt that. Like, because I mean, I do think the writers are great. Like, I love all the stories, but like, that's just something I noticed. I was curious if you guys happened to
yeah. That's
notice
true.
that
And
or
I mean,
not.
I guess probably I mean, I've never seen Star Trek. Like, I've never seen, but I'm sure if we watch Star Trek, we'd probably say that a lot of episodes of SG-1 were kind of mirroring Star Trek episodes because I think a lot of it, it's very, the sci-fi has so many tropes. And I mean, I think they tend to do it in a way that there's something about it that's a little bit more than just the plot, and I always like that. And I think
Yeah.
that's also where you can see that in Stargate, the characters, the setting, and everything makes such a huge difference because, I mean, probably this idea of going to this planet and doing this thing is something that has been done, I'm sure, to death in Star Trek or something, but yet they do it in such a way that you are so interested.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, do either of you feel that you think there should be a new Stargate series? And let's see, how would you imagine it?
Well, the thing is, I don't want them to do the type of thing where they like try to take back the show's older glory. If they're gonna do a new Stargate, it has to be with completely new characters and it can be with like the same, I guess you could say, villains because they never really wrapped up what happened with Ball. Even at the end of season 10, I remember, but like even after the movies, they never really wrapped that up. Um, and I feel like they could still use some of the villains, they could create new villains, but they shouldn't do that type of reboot where they try to do exactly what they did the first time, you know? Like they have to make like a different approach where they want new characters, but the same style of writing, you know?
Yeah. And
Also,
Vala, how
though,
about you? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, it's like also there has to be a time when you wrap everything up. Like shows that go on for too long, they start to get bad. Like Family Guy, if it goes on for a while, it gets bad. Simpsons, it's at like season 32. At some point you run out of ideas, you know? And it just gets bad.
So are you saying then that like yes, you would want a series, or do you worry that it would just be bad?
I would say if they take a if they want a new, I would like a new series, but I don't want it to be any of this reboot thing where it's like the exact same characters or like it's trying to mirror exactly the same concepts. You know, like we have carbon copies of Carter and Jack O'Neill. I want like different
Mhm.
characters, you know? You know when they do the reboot thing where they have different characters but it's the same thing?
Yeah.
Like different characters but like the same personalities, I
A-
guess.
And I know you guys haven't seen Universe yet, and I've only seen it once, so I don't really remember much of it. But that's
I've
exactly why I liked Universe, is because it was the same idea but different. And I think that's also why a lot of people didn't like it because they wanted the same idea. So it's like you have both sides, I think, kind of.
Mhm.
But but Vala, what about you? Would you like to see a new Stargate series or SG1?
I
Is it,
I
or not
would want to see
SG1,
a new
but
Stargate series, but I also don't want to see a Stargate series.
what I want to see is I don't know if you've seen it yet. You have the 200th episode of Stargate. They do a little bit where Teal'c is like a private investigator. That's the series I want. Teal'c as a private investigator.
FBI. You guys want to see Tilk PI?
It's like a
Yep.
spin-off.
Yes.
That'd be
Still private
amazing.
TI.
Okay, here's a good question for the two of you then. If you could do one Stargate spin-off of a random character, what kind of show would you make with what character?
Definitely the Teal'c private TI.
Yeah, I agree with Freya.
But if
What
if that was already made and I had to pick an entirely different one, hmm, that's hard.
are there any from Atlantis maybe you would want to see?
Um,
Maybe a show about.
why are you looking at
I'm
me?
trying to think because there's a lot of good characters that could. Oh, a day in the life of a like Atlantis member, but who's not on the main cast.
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah.
someone who's not like in the main thing, just their point of like the perspective of what's going on in Atlantis, but they're just like a completely unimportant side character that could die at any time. And the entire like show is like you being full of anxiety, like, are they gonna die? Because they're like not important to the plot line at all.
Alyssa, how about you? Is there anyone that you would want to see like in a
I mean,
spin-off?
that's a really good question. I mean, I also kind of would say something really silly, like, you know, I don't know, something like Walter or somebody where you basically see kind of what's going on all the time, but like not necessarily the things that are going on extra. It's like all the craziness of running the thing. And because also you could have then, relationships and intricacies between all the characters on the base and everything. But I guess in Atlantis I'd probably do something similar, like just someone living in Atlantis, but I would probably make it like something really cheesy, like one of those like ridiculous like romance drama things where it's all based on like a soap opera like on the base, because they date people in the other things, and then every once in a while you have cameos from like the main ones, or like they go off on something, but they're like they're the extra character, but in this case they're the main character and the others are the extra, but it's like the whole show is not based on the missions, but it's based on like, I don't know, something stupid like their interactions with everyone on the base and like
Can
Wow.
I just
their
say
experience.
that like
What
Stargate
about
would
you?
not like Stargate would not be still running if it were
Uh-huh.
not for Walter. Walter single-handedly runs the SGC. It's
Yes,
not
yes,
Landry.
that's
It was
true.
never Landry. It's not Hammond. It's Walter. It's
That's
Walter.
true. That's true. We all have, I mean, it's pretty much it wouldn't work without him.
Oh my gosh.
And so, Emily, what about you? What would you do?
Okay, so there's like multiple that I just thought of while you guys were talking. I was just like, okay, so like it could be really cool to have the Vala character spin-off, because like there's a lot to her story that you hear about but don't see. So you
Totally,
could go
yeah.
all the way back to when she was Katesh, and you know it could be a whole thing. Like there's a lot to her storyline that could be there, which would kind of be cool. Another one that I think could be cool is Cassie, the
Ah,
because
yeah.
like how weird is that she's on Earth and dealing with all that she's dealing with. So like that could be cool. And then like with Atlantis, or also on SG1 when they had the clone of who was it, of Richard Dean Anderson's character. Didn't he have a clone, right? That was a kid.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, that would be a cool,
Uh, you know
that
what I
could
was
be
yeah.
thinking of
funny.
just
Yeah.
now that popped into my head? A spin-off about Braytech.
Oh
Yes,
yeah.
I would love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Like I want to see this Jaffa master like navigate his life, because I feel like Braytech, he's such an amazing character. He's one of my personal favorites. He's always just been like the character that you can like count on for a laugh. He's funny. He's dead serious. I just love him. So also a spin-off about Braytech would be pretty cool, you know?
That would be.
How did he get to this glory?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then in Atlantis, I would say maybe like something like like Beckett or something, or like Zelenka.
Yes.
And like it would just be like, I mean, I don't know how long that spinoff could last, but I think it could be interesting because I just like both of those characters.
Yeah, no, totally.
Or
100%.
McKay, right? McKay, I guess he's main cast though, but like I guess all of those are main cast, but yeah, any of really, I think if you think about it, like any character could be really cool to just have it solely based on
Totally.
them.
That's one of
Totally.
my favorite parts about Stargate. Every character is your favorite character. Like, there are some characters where you just have to go, okay, I hate this character. But also, like, so many of the characters are just so, like, well written and they feel so much like people that you just love
Totally.
them, you know?
Yeah, like you want to hang out with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of hanging out with, my next question is, who would you rather be a part of? The Nox, the Asgard, or the Ancients? And I guess there's also the Furlings, and we haven't met them, so you can say that, but you don't know what they are yet. But which would you choose if you had to? You had to like,
Nox.
what?
I feel like the ancients are like they have way too many rules. They're way too stuck up. So I'd have to say no to the ancients because they're kind of stuck up. Um, Now the Nox are pretty cool in my opinion. They're like they're badass, but they don't interfere. They're also sort of like the ancients. They stay neutral, but they get to sort of live their life and interact with the lower planes. But then again, the Asgard, they get to like interact and they have all this high tech stuff. So I actually have to go with the Nox because like I guess not interfering with conflict is they're just pacifists. So I have to go with Nox.
Interesting. And Vala,
Yeah.
what about you?
I also go with Fox.
Why?
Okay.
Why would you go with the Nux? Because they're cool.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, my question. Okay, so is this Alyssa, is this question for both of them?
Yes, but maybe Vala should answer this one first, and then
Okay.
Freya can answer it, and we'll see how well Vala self-assessed herself.
Okay, so basically the question is, do you think Vala, as in you, have anything in common with the character Vala, and why or why not?
Yeah.
Common, I think, is their hair because we have the same hair color.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you go around stealing everything?
Yeah, exactly. Are you a pirate?
no.
Yeah.
So basically the hair color you would say is what's similar?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
No,
Freya,
Freya.
would you agree with that assessment?
Also, I think some of the sassiness also.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, that's true, see?
What's that?
Well, also, you're both very physically fit, and like you can, like Vala's a very good fighter, and she's very like strong, and so are you. That's what I would say you have in common.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. I think I think you are up, Alyssa.
Yes. So here's a question now. I would like both of you to think about this very carefully.
Okay.
So, would you choose to be a Tok'ra? Like, would you be a Tok'ra if you were able to? And then if you say no to that question, like you don't actively choose to be a Tok'ra, if you had to, like let's say you were in the same situation as Jacob Carter, like you were basically going to die if you didn't take on a Tok'ra, would you then take on a Tok'ra? So first, would you be a Tok'ra? And then if you say no to that, would you be a Tok'ra if it meant you would need to in order to live?
Well, of course, you'd want to be a Tok'ra. I mean, you have a longer lifespan, you have an eternal companion, and it's never you'd never get bored, and also you'd be like 10 times smarter than you actually are because you have this Tok'ra on you.
Yeah, I would also choose being a Tok'ra.
Like, come
Even though
on.
you have a snake in your head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you have a snake in your head, but also you live longer, you never have to worry about getting sick, and you have an eternal companion.
What if the Tok'ra fell in love with somebody that you really couldn't stand? Would you be okay with it still?
But
Mm,
isn't the entire point, like, isn't the entire whole Tok'ra thing that it's like you two share feelings?
I mean, yes, but not always. Remember, there was that one Freya and a niece. One of them liked Daniel, and the other liked Jack.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but they were
So,
both like fond of it.
so I mean, but you would be okay if suddenly you had feelings for someone you wouldn't normally? That would be okay with you?
Yeah,
In exchange for long life and good health.
hell yeah. I mean, come on.
And the
How
same with you,
long did the
Vala?
Tok'ra live? I mean, how Braytek was like what, 134?
Yeah.
He was pretty old.
Mhm. Emily, I feel like, did you say you wouldn't be a Tok'ra? I feel like
Yeah,
you
I
would.
don't want a snake in me. No way. Be gone, snake.
I would totally do it. I would 100% do it. But I mean, like O'Neill wouldn't.
Yeah.
He said, I mean, basically over my dead body.
Yeah. I just couldn't. Like that would just creep me out just knowing it's in there. Even if like you can't feel anything, you just know it's there. That would just be
Yeah.
like very disturbing to me. That I mean, I'm sure you can get used to it and then maybe it's not as creepy, but
Then
no.
there's also like, I guess you could say it's like the privacy that you don't have anymore. It's like whatever you're doing, the snake is like technically watching you.
And knowing
Yeah.
your thoughts. Imagine
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
much they judge you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, there's probably pros and cons to it, right?
Yes, yes, exactly.
And I think what we have a final question and then we have some fun questions. Is
Yes,
that what
then
we're
we just
doing?
have some fun questions.
Okay, so should I do the final question or do you want to skip to the fun questions?
No, it's okay. You can do the final one.
Okay. So the final one is which Goa'uld is your favorite and why? And I don't know if you guys have a list at all or if it's easy for you to just pick, but for me, I
It's pretty
forget all of
easy.
their names. So,
It's
I like
easy.
Ball. Yeah,
well,
he's fun.
yeah,
And
I
he's a
yeah,
also
great villain.
yeah.
Like I never really liked Apophis. He was a villain and he was just a villain, you know, but Ball actually has something to his character. I
Hmm.
quite enjoy his character.
quite like Ball.
Yeah,
Do
yeah.
you guys like when he interacts with Sam?
Okay, yeah, those two are funny.
Yeah.
I could see those two like uh having like a one night stand, I guess.
Wait, Ball and Sam?
Yeah, you'll see, you'll see. When they
Okay.
interact later, it gets
You're
super fun.
almost there.
Like all I've so far seen is that two-parter and what I thought was kind of weird was and here's me forgetting names of everyone, but the Ori leader girl daughter of Vala, what's her
The
name?
Orithai.
Adria,
Yeah.
Adria.
Yeah. And like how like she's like talking to Ball and like you don't know yet that she can't use her powers. And like, but they're just like staring at each other, and then Sam's just like, gosh, guys, get a room or something like that. And like I'm just like, how strange is that to say that to someone that's like like what is she like a week old?
Like 3 weeks.
Well, no, she's probably like a
Also,
week
hold
and
on.
what?
There's like this weird moment in season 10 where it's like also this weird Adria Daniel thing, and the entire time I just have to go ew, 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 because it's so weird. The way that they do it is like they want you to ship the two characters, but they're so like like it's a disgusting ship because like you want to ship Vala and Daniel, and then if you think about it, that's her daughter and Daniel, and she's technically like 3 weeks old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's weird.
Also,
It's totally weird.
do you know that I didn't know this, but like apparently the person who plays Adria also plays Deadpool's girlfriend. Like I didn't know that till recently.
Oh. Oh
Do
my
you know?
gosh. Huh. I've seen Deadpool, but I only yeah, that maybe that's where I recognized her from when I saw her. Yeah, because I did recognize her.
Yeah, I recognized, like, when I watched Deadpool, I recognized the girlfriend. I was like, hey, that girlfriend looks kind of familiar. And then my mind instantly went to like Wonder Woman, and then I realized, no, that's not really her. And then when like I found out, oh my God, she plays Adria, it made so much sense to me. I guess I didn't realize it because she had the eyes, like the CGI contact lens eyes.
Ah,
Mhm.
yeah. Yeah.
That's
That's
true.
cool.
She had those weird, those like amber eyes for a while.
Yeah.
And it just didn't make her look human.
Yeah. All right. So on to the fun questions. Alyssa, do you want to start?
Yeah, I'll start. And so what we'll do is the first question, Vala, you answer first, and then the next question, Freya answer first, and so on and so forth. So these are just really
How
fun.
how many questions are there?
Like, I don't know, 5 or 6, something like that. There's a few, but
Okay.
they're just really fun. It's just a quick answers. So, first question, who do you ship Sam Carter with? And so it can be anyone. So, Vala, you start. Who do you want
I
Carter to be with?
ship Sam with General O'Neill, Dr. Beckett.
Beckett?
Yeah,
Why?
I don't know.
They've never even interacted. Not once.
And she's gonna say one more. What's the other one?
Definitely Ronnie too.
And Rodney. Okay. Freya, what about
Awesome.
you?
Yeah, my top two ships have to be Jack O'Neill and Rodney McKay. Those two are, I think, in terms of the funniest. A lot of people say it's like, oh, Martooth and Sam, but I hated
But
Martooth.
no,
Martooth is horrible.
no Martooth, no.
I didn't like
Uh,
Martooth
No
ever.
one likes Martooth.
And you know what's funny is I could actually see Beckett too. Like when you bring it up, I could totally see they getting along.
Yeah, because Beckett's sweet. Like,
Yes.
like, so I could see Sam appreciating that because, like, McKay's an ass. Like, I love McKay now. When I saw him in SG1, I didn't love him, but like, I like him now. It's just he's really annoying. And so imagine dating that dude. No.
I don't know, McKay has had some solid character development.
True.
Like,
That's true.
True.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah. Yeah. You love to hate him, but it's yeah, I have mixed feelings about McKay, but I do love McKay at the same time. It's a confusing thing.
Well, so loving him and wanting one of your character to date him is like a whole, yeah, it's like
Yeah, yeah.
I
Okay,
I
so
love I love the episode where McKay and his sister interact.
Oh yeah, that
It's so
episode was
funny.
funny.
yeah, yeah. And then his name is what? Is it Meredith?
Meredith.
It's
Yeah,
Meredith.
And
His
she's always
Meredith.
calling him Mayor, and then they're just like, Mayor, what's Mayor?
Meredith.
real name is Meredith. You're telling me that he like went to the most top secret thing on the entire planet and no one knew his actual name was Meredith?
It's funny.
Okay, so next question, and I think Freya would answer first now, right?
Yes.
Okay, so it'd be if you were stranded on a desert island, would you rather have Ronan or Teal'c with you,
Ooh, I
and
know this
why?
one. I know this one. I know.
Ronan or Taylor?
No, Teal.
Or Teal.
Teal'c. Although you should have put Taylor in the question too.
Yeah,
I
why
know.
did I put that?
Yeah, so let's
I
out
know.
of 3, Ronan, Teal'c, or Taylor, and why?
Obviously Taylor. She has the survival instincts and
What?
like the badassery of
Mm.
both, but she's also like so much easier to talk to.
No,
Yeah.
Ronan, because he was running from the Wraith for 10 years and he survived.
7.
7.
But like Taylor also has the survival instincts of Ronan, the same ones, because she was like also hiding from the Wraith for her whole life. But she's easy to talk to and much more friendly.
Awesome. So
But
I
if
think
it was Ronan or Teal'c, I would definitely take Ronan.
Yeah, I would also take Ronan.
yeah. All right.
Okay. So this question is, of all the places that have been visited in like Atlantis and Stargate, which planet or kind of like group of people would you like to go visit yourself?
I don't
I don't
remember.
know.
I don't remember a lot of the planets in SG1 and in Atlantis, but even if I remember some, I really don't know which one I want to visit.
There's a lot of like medieval villages that I thought were kind of cool, but at the same time, I feel like if I had to pick one, I would say, you know, Lucius, the guy who pretended that he was like a hero and like
Lucius
use that
Levin?
special route. Yeah, Lucius Levin. I'd say that town. They seem like friendly people.
Yeah, but he was
Oh, yes. Okay, I remember.
Lucius
person
Levin.
in front of him.
She's not there yet. Because like I feel like that's the only town where the outcome of what happened to the town wasn't that bad.
I really
Yeah.
don't know which planet.
Like the rest of the medieval towns, it was like ghoul attack, rape attack, there's a mysterious bug that's eating people alive. It's like a bunch of, bad
Yeah,
things.
destroyed by the Ori.
Yeah.
Stop.
Or I guess there was is it way in the beginning in SG1 there was the one where Jack by accident was turning old, right? But like
Yes.
that seemed kind of like if you don't allow that to happen to you, like that could be a nice place to
Oh
visit.
yeah, that could be a nice
Totally.
place.
That
Yeah.
place was very beautiful and nice. And
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a nice place.
Should we maybe do just one more question, Alyssa, or do you feel like we should
Yes,
be going
please.
through all of these?
yeah,
'Cause we've
one
kind of
more
done a
question
lot.
because we've actually been going a long time. You guys have answered
Yeah.
a lot.
Um,
So Emily picks the final question, and then maybe the two of you can ask us a question, and then that'll be that.
Okay.
okay, final question is just kind of a silly what? Would you rather do a workout session with Taylor or Teal'c?
With Taylor or Teal'c?
Yes.
Taylor.
1,000,000%.
Yeah. Because Teal'c would just be silent the whole time and just kick your ass. But Taylor would, like, I feel, give you nice pointers and just be
help
more of like a
you
trainer
and help
than
you.
Teal'c.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of
And
course,
it'd be
Taylor.
fun fighting with the stick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That looks fun.
But not fun to fall on the ground.
I know, right? No, thank
Also,
you,
I feel like
Teal'c.
Teal'c would just destroy you. He would be like, the true way to learn is by getting your ass kicked. And then he just kick your ass. But Taylor would like go easy on you and show you how it's done.
And then when
You
you're
know?
actually ready, she says, don't hold back.
Then she'd
And-
kick your ass.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
she'd like work up to the ass kicking.
Yeah.
Teal'c
Yeah.
would just full on just,
Boom.
One-
Yeah.
He hits me one time and I'm already broke.
Yeah, you're broken. Snapped like a twig. Okay,
So
so
with-
yeah, that's the final question.
With the two of you, maybe you could like ask us a question.
What's this one?
Is there anything you want to ask us about Stargate or
yes.
what?
If you were on a planet, who would you be with? Ronan, Taylor, Beckett, Rodney, Weir, or John?
You mean if we were stuck there?
Yeah.
And who would we pick to be there? I probably pick Beckett because he'll keep me alive.
Hmm. I would maybe pick John because he always seems to have like a way of like never giving up and finding a way out of things.
Oh yeah, totally.
So like where sometimes some other ones have slightly given up a little bit ish. And he's usually the one so far, at least from what I've seen, to kind of keep going. So maybe I would choose him because he seems like resourceful, that kind of thing.
Okay, I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
If you had to disarm like a bomb,
Ooh.
who would you choose as your aide? Samantha or Rodney?
Ooh.
Because like
That's a hard one.
It's really tough, but I think I would pick Sam because I am much prone to like freaking out like and getting anxious like Rodney. And I know both of them are more than capable, but I feel like Sam would be calm about it and it would make me calm
actually
about it.
tell you to take deep breaths. And
Yeah.
the thing is though, Sam in the later seasons, I'm a bit disappointed because she doesn't do as much tech stuff as she did earlier. Like Rodney feels much more like the tech guy, like in Atlantis, I mean, because like he doesn't shoot the gun a lot. He really relies on his tech, and Sam doesn't do that as much as she does in like the earlier seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I would still choose Sam for the same reason though, is because McKay gets so worked up and so like crazy about it, I would get crazy too, and we'd both just be screaming at each other.
Yeah. Same, right?
It would not end well.
Mm.
What ship would you rather be on? The Odyssey or the Daedalus? Ooh.
Oh, then I have one more question after this.
I don't know, Alyssa, what ship would you be on?
Isn't the Daedalus is the one that goes between Atlantis and SG-1, right? Or
Yeah.
Stargate Command. I'd probably pick the Daedalus then because you can go really far.
Also, like the Odyssey is, I guess, more prone to blowing up.
And then I have one question.
Mhm.
What ship would you actually fly with? The Wraith ship or the Gould ship?
Ooh,
I kind of
that's
like the Wraith ship because it's so like weird looking. It's so cool. Like,
I know, but how are you gonna figure out how to fly it?
I would say
well,
true. Oh,
I mean,
I
I would pick what?
Gould, like Wraith ships are organic, so I feel like it would be kind of gross to be in there. I would choose the Gould ship because also the Wraith ships, they don't have the right hyperspace technology. Like they have to like stop every few hours
oh,
and like
that's
just
right.
hyperspace because they're
Yeah.
organic. But the Gould ships are like machines.
Mm.
Yeah,
That's
come
very
on,
smart. Yeah.
I'd pick Gold Ship because the ones they land on the pyramids, and I'm such history geek that I'd be like, oh my God, I'm landing on a
Sure.
pyramid.
There's a
Yeah.
hummingbird.
Oh, there's a hummingbird where we are.
A hummingbird?
The baby's looking
Oh.
for food.
Baby.
Well, the baby's
Because
looking
there's
for food,
usually
but there's no food.
usually there's food hanging right here where we're
Oh.
sitting. And
Oh.
But there's no food right now. The poor baby's looking all over for food in the garden, but there's no
it's
food.
like, oh my God.
So
It
we
was
need
like
to find food,
Right
huh?
where the feeder usually is. It's right where the feeder usually is.
so when we
Oh.
get out of there, we have to. I think.
Oh, we should
think.
end this soon because we have to make more food for the
Yeah.
hummingbirds.
Oh my gosh, it scared me.
Yeah. Oh.
I thought it was a spider for a
It's still
second.
here.
It's like flying all over in our garden looking
Oh my
for
gosh.
Aw.
You guys can get food. That's fine. We can just thank you for
We
being on
have
our
to make,
podcast.
we have
Okay.
to make it.
Oh, do
Yeah.
you? Okay.
Yeah. No, we're very thankful that you came on and gave your perspective on
Yeah.
Stargate. And it's really cool to hear from people of a up and coming generation that can maybe create more Stargate fans in the future.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I guess then we would turn the questions towards our audience. And how do you think the fandom of the show can grow? And do you think that the show has an appeal for a younger audience as well to kind of ensure the longevity of the fan base?
Yeah. Do your children also watch Stargate?
Yeah, watch Stargate. And if they don't like it, what do they say about it? Because I'm also interested to hear that too. So yeah.
All
And
right,
thank
I
you for
will.
coming on the show.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Hey, we're gonna go make food for the hummingbirds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye.
Guys,
Bye.